So session is completely uh, is aligned with this Selenium sessions. Okay, Selenium with Java. So usually we are going to talk about Selenium tool as well as and few sessions on Java. We will also have some introduction to Java thing as well. I hope the screen is visible for all of you. Please confirm this. So is screen visible to all of you? Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we'll start in. We'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then start the session. Okay. Anyhow, let's take the introduction and let's continue. If anybody is going to join, they'll join meanwhile. So now this session is dedicated completely for Selenium testing. So what we are going to do in this session is we are going to talk about Selenium with Java. So we do this for almost for 5 to 6 weeks, and definitely by the end of this session, you will be able to do your automation without much difficulty. That's for sure. And okay, let's get into the discussion of this testing. So here I am not going too deep into the other things of testing because our focus is more on the Selenium tool here, and then how to do automations with Selenium tool and how to set up Selenium, and then all different concepts associated with Selenium. And then for a couple of weeks we do have a discussion on core Java. So so that if anybody is new to that Java, so whatever that is necessary to handle this Selenium with Java, so you will be discussed on that. And again, see, now let's start a discussion on this software testing now. So in layman terminologies, a quick question. Most of you are working and you know exactly what is testing. There is, we don't need to come up with any book definition now. So we are in a world of software industry, and right, we keep developing software products every day. So the lakhs of products will keep on getting developed every day. But the question is, so how do you make sure that your product is working as expected? So people develop it and people release it to the production, or they will release it to the live. But before that, how do you confirm that your product is error free or bug free or defect free? How do you confirm that? So that is where testing comes into the picture. So it's a very simple thing here. So testing is a something which verifies and validates that your product is bug free so that customers don't face any issue once it is released to live or production in a simple terminology. I hope this is clear for all of you. Next thing is so the prerequisites to learn this Selenium. What is that? Some basic understanding of any programming knowledge would be good. That is fine. Else also we have a possibility here because we are already doing some. I'm not doing some Python sessions, so you can try to attend them as well. But I'm not saying that you should attend. But I'm just giving you a heads up or a background if you want to learn Selenium, and also some basic understanding of a little idea about uh, you know this testing related thing. Manual we are not going to cover here. Our focus is only on automation. So because I don't generally I much involved into this all manual thing usually. Okay. So next one, that's about testing. Simply speaking, you develop a product and you have to check that the product is working as expected. And for that, what do you do is to make sure that that is defect free, you go for testing. Testing is nothing but you verify and validate that your product is defect free. That's it. Now, in today's session, if someone is new to the testing or if you are someone wants to get a quick recap or overview on this testing terminologies, this is the best start actually. So, what is SDLC and STLC? Okay. And then what is waterfall and agile methodologies? And then what is software testing? We just had discussed and types of software testing and test plan and test cases. And again, what is severity and priority? What is a bug and how to report a bug? And what is a bug life cycle? So this is a simple thing we need every testing engineer should understand and should have an idea. Because when you attend any interview, definitely you can expect some questions from this slide. Okay, either difference between waterfall or agile, or difference between SDLC and STLC or software testing. Okay, severity and priority about test cases or test plan. People keep you asking these questions are about a bug. Okay, so you have to get a clear picture on this. And that is what we are going to do in today's session before we go and start on something. I hope this is clear for all of you, friends, right? So next one, okay. So what is SDLC means? Software development life cycle. So when you are developing a product in any organization, it has to follow a life cycle, which is what we call in this software terms SDLC, software development life cycle, and it has series of phases. Uh, you know, uh, it starts like this here. If you see here, it's very clearly mentioned here. The first phase is planning. Planning in sense, so suppose you want to develop a product, so you have to first do this. This is very important step. Like you have to make sure that what is your product, what module should be there in your product, and which team should work, how many members should work. Okay, and then how many testers must be there, how many developers must be there. Okay, suppose if we are developing some web, some website. So what should be the logo and what should be the number, how many pages should exist, all this. So from if you want to build a product, this is the crucial phase where we call it as the planning. Once you do planning, then you start gathering requirements in sense, again, the technical thing and functional thing, all that you are going to talk discuss about all those things. So this doesn't happen just in a day or two. You have a series of meetings with your teams and client as well. So and you keep discussing about what client needs every time. That's it. And then design means, again, this is another important phase where this architects everyone will involve. So what is this? What happens in design phase is you try to define architecture of your project. Okay, and then you try to define again the teams whom should get involved, whom should be hired. All that will be discussed even in this phase as well, in the design phase. So all that wireframes you should create if it is a web product, all that. So once this designing happens, all that UML things, if you want to create all the UML related workflows, so people do that in the design phase. Usually architects involve in this a lot here. Of course, your high level team will be there in all these phases, no doubt about it. Till here, it's all about your top level people. But from here onwards, developers also starts involving. So development phase. Once design happens, people start into development. So what is this development here? So development means implementing your project actually. So once your architect defines about all that, what should be there in your project, then it comes to the developers, where developers involve into this and they starts implementing it. As a testers, we don't need to get worried about development because it's not our responsibility to develop anything. Who will take care of it is that developers team will be taking. So once this phase is done, once the product is built by developers, then it comes to the testing people. So next thing is testing. Of course, developers do a simple testing, what we call unit testing. But apart from unit testing, you need a deep testing without which we cannot confirm your product is defect free. But and also as a tester, you should always look for defects. So you should have a mind for defects. That's all. Sometimes we see don't look at negatives in the people. This is what people say. But as a tester, you should always look for defects. So we don't have a choice. That's how your mindset should be set actually. Because if you don't look for defects, then we are not doing it in we are not justifying to our role. So that is where once the development happens, now it comes to the testers. If you are really a good tester, then definitely you will add so much of value to the product because it is the tester who can find all that loopholes, all that defects which were there in the product and make sure that the product is coming very well. Okay. So once development is done, it comes to testing, and testing team thoroughly perform this testing. Of course, if you ask me what kind of testings we do on a product, I'm going to talk about it today. So I'll just let you know. And then deployment. Once this testing happens thoroughly, so then we go for deployment. Deployment means moving your this thing to production environment. Okay, so once you release it to the production means prod means then you are releasing it to the live. Most probably we can say we call it as a release, and then it goes to the live. Once deployment happens, then the other thing is maintenance. Again, if any changes are there or if any further issues were there, then this is what we call maintenance phase. Okay, every organization will have a period of maintenance. Okay, suppose you build a product for some organization or some client, you have a contract like these many years again you will be doing maintenance for that product until client is okay with that. It depends again. So how many years you support maintenance all depends on the discussion and the contract that you and your client is going to decide. Okay. Then this is about the software development life cycle, simply speaking. And here ours is the fifth phase where we involve much into the testing. Okay. But the point is being a tester, you should always look for defects. That is very important. And you should develop that mindset. See, the testing is not difficult or testing is not something really hard actually. The only thing is are you able to have that defect mindset is what we call here. So that is important. That's all. So that's about this SDLC. I hope all of you are clear with this phases. Okay, next one. STLC, another important stuff here. What is STLC? Software testing lifecycle. See, there is a difference here, SDLC and STLC. SDLC talks about life cycle of a product. STLC talks about testing life cycle. So what are different phases we have when you are doing a testing? So that's what we call STLC. So the point is simple here, friends. What STLC says is what all you should follow from start to end when you start testing. That is called STLC. Suppose product is developed by the development team. Now, once that product is handed over to the testing team, so what you have to do? The testing team has to do something from start of that testing life cycle to the end of the testing life cycle. Okay, that is what. we should do in the STLC here. STLC is going to follow that. So what are those phases? Let's have a quick idea. Anyhow, requirement analysis is the first step in STLC. So what do you do here? You create an SRD and FRD. So, okay, system requirement document or functional requirement document. This is very important for a tester because see the your team, your manager or your architect, test architect will share this SRD or FRD for you. And what they do is, see this has all that needs to be covered for testing. What all you have to do in testing is given in these documents. What are those documents? SRD and FRD, system requirement documents and or functional requirement documents. I hope this is clear for all of you. Okay. Then this once this is done, this phase is completed. Once this documentation thing is done, then we go for test planning. Test planning means what? Like any other planning, right? So here, what to test? Because we are testers. When you are in testing session, you can have a complete. You can think of yourself as a tester until this session is done. Okay, right? So when you are planning test, when you do test planning, what is that we do? What to test? Because once the product is handed over from development team to the testing team, first you should have a strategy here. The first thing is what you should test once developer hand over that product to you. What strategies we should follow? What scenarios, test cases we should build here? If you want to do this testing, and how much manual you should do this to your project, and how much automation you can do for your project. And for automation, maybe suppose if you choose automation, which technology you should choose? Should you choose Java, I mean Selenium with Java or Selenium with Python, or should you differently choose completely should you choose completely a new tool like Tosca, so or something else. So this is where we call test planning here. So when you say test planning, here all these things has to be considered. So what to test and what test cases we should build and how much time we should do this testing, all these things, what kind of testing you should apply again. So there are different types of testing. What testing you should do for this depends on the product and urgency. So we also choose which testing we should choose here. Got it right, friends? So that's about test planning, simple. And test case design, this is a very important for you, everyone, okay? Because this is what decides how your testing comes up. Test case designing is nothing but we are going to discuss all this. I'll show you how to create simple test cases for a simple website. Maybe we'll take a sample website and just come up with few sample test cases, maybe for today itself. Okay. Here, what do we do is we create test cases to build all your or scenarios which will cover all that cases or scenarios you should do or apply while testing a website or a product. That is what we call test case design. Test case is nothing but an Excel where what to do and how to do, what should be the outcome, what should be the status, what is the expected result and status, all that things. Okay, anyhow, we'll see that. And test environment setup. So once this is done, this test cases is prepared by your manager and your team. The next thing you are going to do is test environment setup. So what do you do here? Your developers or managers and your leads, everybody will do this setup for you, and also your admin team. So what is that environment here? Generally testing happens in UAT or SAT or QA environments. So first you have to have a dedicated setup for that. And once that is done, and what tools has to be there in your testing team? I mean, testing environment. Is it manual or is it Selenium? If it is Selenium, is it Selenium with Java tool you should have, or you should Selenium with C sharp you should have. All that things should be available for the servers, and then the everything should be available for you. If a tester should go and do this testing without any issues. So that is what we call test environment setup here. Okay. And then test execution. Once this done, what you do is using those test cases which we have built. Sometimes it depends on product. So if you build a module in a product, you might have 100 test cases, 500 test cases, 1000 test cases, 10,000 test cases also. It depends on the size of product and the kind of product, how many test cases you need. Then only you can say that your product is coming out with minimal defects, because we cannot say that anytime we cannot confirm that we don't have defects. Always as a tester, you should feel that there are defects, that's all. That particular thing is a defect, it has something defects. That's what you should feel always, okay, when you are doing testing. And then test execution based on that test cases, what you do is you try to run this all the test cases and make sure that and you capture the results in the form of reports. Once you get reports, then what happens? So once this test execution happens, this reports what we call is a bug report, because when you do this test execution, you find out these defects are bugs. And then what you have to do, you have to notify all this in the reports to the your manager. Your manager again notified to the developer team, development team. Again, your development should start again fixing these bugs. And again, they will again give you back for retesting. And again, what you do, again you do create, try to test these defects or bugs. And if everything is fine, you are going to close this bugs. So this is how something this testing and development happens, and this is how the coordination happens between testing team and development team. Okay, so usually developers will not be happy if a tester is a really a good tester, because if you keep on finding defects, the developer sometimes might get frustrated. But it's not like we are doing it intentional, but it's our job and our responsibility. Even not all has that problem, but still sometimes it occurs. But that there is nothing wrong in that. As a tester, you have to keep on looking for defects only. That's your mindset. And if you want to be a tester, got it, team? So that's about this. Once that testing is executed, and then once you get that report, what you have to do is again you have to close that bugs, and then finally what happens? We have this test closure, means reporting at the end of testing. Again, we have to share that report with your high level team, and also with the development team. Once that is done, finally what happens? Once all that bugs, everything gets completed, we close those. That's called test closure. Okay, team. I hope this is clear for all of you. Are you getting our discussion here? Right. Okay. Next one. Anyhow, I'll just take a few questions in a while. Okay. So now the another important thing is methodologies, development methodologies or testing methodologies. How you are going to do. So there are two things here when you do this methodologies, software testing methodologies or development methodologies. So one is waterfall, the other one is agile. Waterfall is like Bajaj Chetak. It's gone. So it's old days. But of course, Bajaj Chetak is too good. But waterfall is not like that anyhow. I'm just giving you an example that this is very old system. And agile is something which is happening throughout the world now. So everywhere people follow agile, because if you want to move your tasks and everything fast, then agile is much more recommended, because most of you who are in the sessions definitely you're working and you know about it. So which one we follow in your day-to-day testing or day-to-day development means waterfall is no more in usage. It was there sometime some 15 years back or 20 years back. But now the whole story changed once this agile got introduced. Okay, so what is this? Let's see the quick difference between waterfall and agile. But you need to get more idea about agile. So we'll talk about it anyhow. So what is waterfall here? So here, if it is waterfall, like right? Waterfall means once it comes from top to bottom, there is no going back. Something like that. Here, you do development completely, and then you go for testing completely. So what happens here? Complete development happens in one go, and complete testing happens in one go for a product. If it is a small product, it is fine. But if it is a big product, if it is a huge product, then waterfall is going to affect in many ways. So because when you develop such a huge product at once and give it for testing, it is quite difficult for testing people also to test it all at once. Even if you do that, if any issues happens, again, if you want to go back, it is not going to be easy. Okay, we have a lot of drawbacks with waterfall model. Like Agile, we don't have that flexibility here, right? Suppose if I put some a kg of rice and ask you to eat that kg at a time, how do you feel? Just tell me, friends. Suppose if I give you a bowl of rice and ask you to eat, then how do you feel? Which is best? Okay. So eating kg at a time means it's a Bahubali kind of risk for us. So we are doing a very big this thing, right? Digestion becomes difficult. Everything becomes difficult. Even same thing, same problem exists for testers as well. Of course, after that again, if bugs, you see a lot of bugs here. Suppose your product is not implemented properly. Again, to go back, waterfall is not going to support in like how Agile does. Got it? Team? This is the quick big drawback with waterfall. That's why this is limited only for small projects, but not for very big projects. Then if you ask me, so what is happening in industry today? Means we talk about Agile. Agile is the most followed methodology these days. What is Agile here? Both goes hand in hand. It's not like you develop at once and you test another thing. Development and testing happens hand in hand. Developers will develop a small module and then the testers will do the testing same module within the same kind of period within the same period. Of course, without developer developing some module, testers don't do any testing. But suppose today, let us take a small scenario. You have a small module, you should implement it. Suppose you take example of Amazon itself. You don't need to go for anything else. Okay. Suppose because if it is a website development, so you can take this as a scenario. Suppose these are all modules here in Amazon. This is a very big project. All of us know this. Okay, you can take any website. It's not just Amazon. And you want to just add this sell module or sell best sellers module or today's deals module. So assume that this is a simple module. And again, in this again, you have so many things again. So what you do, assume that you are developing this Amazon Launchpad for for this sprint because here we don't develop all at once in Agile, but we break down this whole development process into small chunks. Small chunks means small parts. And what do? You create a sprint for that in Agile model. Each sprint will be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It depends on your your team and your management and client. For suppose in this sprint, for sprint one, there will be multiple sprints for a product development. It depends on sometimes your product might have 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. It depends on size of project. Or sometimes your product might have more even 3 years also. It all depends on number of sprints and the size of product. Now in one sprint, what you are doing is you are developing Launchpad. Not even the, what is this one, best sellers module. In that you are just doing a small part here. Now when you're developing this launchpad, what you do here is develop. You just take 3 weeks of time for this. And what you do, you just do all that. And in these 3 weeks, what happen? What should happen? Your development should happen and testing should happen. Means whatever you develop parallelly, you give it to the testers, and testers will be doing testing. So that if any bugs, defects are there, they will just notify within this 3 weeks, so that you can immediately fix them. So in that way, what happens? So we don't have a overhead here. So we don't have a problem like, of coming up with more bugs at a time. You don't have many bugs in your plate. Only just some handful of bugs, we can immediately fix it. So that's how agile is defined. It's a sprint system. These terminologies, everything what I discuss here, it is very important for everyone if you are just starting. And if everybody is working, we are good, no problem. Because for working people, you all know how it goes here. So I hope this is clear for all of you friends. Got it right? So agile is something which goes both development and testing hand in hand. And this is the best process, and this gives best results and quick development. And also it is good for both developers and testers, because instead of doing that whole project at a time, if you do it in parts, actually you can test it well, develop it well, and then you can even make sure that you have very minimal bugs. Because never ever we cannot say that we don't have bugs. We cannot say that something is bug free or defect free. I hope this is clear, friends. Understood now? So that's the idea about this one. Next one. We have to see types of testing here. What is this types of testing here? Testing. What is testing? But now we should understand quickly types of testing. So these are all different types of testing here. What is that? Unit testing, smoke testing, integration testing, ad hoc testing, monkey testing, regression testing, and we have a few more actually. So all that is not needed because our focus is more on Selenium tool, right? So just let's limit ourselves to this now. So what is this types of testing means? Different types of tests, what we do in a real environment. The first one, let's have a quick overview on this. The first one is unit testing. Who does this unit testing? It is actually the developers who does this unit testing. We don't do. So once the product is implemented, suppose you do this, suppose this is a website. So developer has just developed this Amazon mini TV module. And what they does is they see that, so in this module, what we have to, so otherwise just best example is your login. So assume that your developer have developed this, what shall I say, this login thing. Got it? So now once developer develops this login, again he has to test it. So what he should say is do, he should put that email or mobile number and say that click on this button and make sure that this button is moving to the passport page again. This is here we just give only that. And developer has to see that minimal testing before he hand over this login this thing to the testers. And this kind of testing, which is done by the developer itself, is called unit testing. Okay, he has to check all this in his module here. If it is a login module, he should check that this login is working, quite fine. And then also suppose you click on need help, you should see that these things are working fine. And then if you click, if developer clicks on forget, you should see that this is working fine. Okay, likewise, okay, what shall we do now? This is what we call unit testing. What is unit testing? It is something which is done by the developer itself. You don't need that actually. Got it, team. That is one thing. Next one, smoke testing. Right? Smoke means how would it be? Let's see that smoke means you just wake up in a winter morning. You have a lot of fog outside, right? When you are going in a vehicle or a car, assume that you are in a very, you know, dense fog area. fog area where fog is, too much there. Then when you go out, you cannot see anything, right? It is not visible for you properly. That is called nothing but here. And you can see only few things or very nearby thing. And then if you want to see something far, you cannot see that. Just think like that. So the smoke test is also something like that, where you don't go for a deep testing, just you do that a basic testing. Suppose if you see here, so this is your website again. I'm going back again to Amazon. Suppose you are just testing for login. Okay. So what you do here is the basic testing. What is that? The very important thing that should work for your this thing. First, it should accept username and password. That is the basic. Later on, of course, all this again, if forget password is working or not, or other issues with sign in, all this you test it later. But for this to work, just immediately it should make sure that it is going to accept valid email and password. That's all. That is important. So this basic testing which you apply, you don't go for testing deep here. You don't do any deep testing here. It's just a basic testing, which is what we call smoke testing team. I hope this is clear. So that's about it. We just apply because sometimes we have an urgency to do a release. In such cases, what people do is they just ask us to do this a quick smoke test and just move it to the next level. That's all. And then integration testing. Integration testing means simple. Let me just show you here. If you see here, this is the Amazon website again. Okay, you have this Amazon logo here, right? Again, you click on this page. Again, you see this Amazon logo here. Suppose you click on this bestseller menu. You have Amazon here. You click on mobiles. You have the same logo here. You click on customer service. You have the same logo here. Leave about logo thing. You see this search button. You click on any module here. The search button is also coming along with that module. You can see that search is integrated to all these modules. Suppose you click on new release. This search is integrated to new release. If you click on Prime, still search is integrated to Prime. If you click on Home and Kitchen, still you can find this search box with this one. So what is this here? Integration testing is simple. Connecting one component in multiple modules. So if you see this search box, this is integrated to all your modules here. This one component is connected to all modules, and you have to see that that is connected properly or not. So that's what we call integration testing. Suppose you see this Amazon logo, it will be there on in when you click on any module, you can see the logo because this component Amazon is integrated to all your modules. Otherwise, it's a proprietary thing, right? It's minimum thing. Suppose when someone log into the Amazon, and if you don't find the logo itself, what is your response? What is your emotion at that time? Suppose you think as a customer. They want, definitely you don't trust that website, right? You have a big doubt now whether it is Amazon website or some other website, or are we got trapped into some kind of this thing? Okay, a fraud website. So that's why all this is necessary, team. I hope you are following. Understood, right? That is integration. Connecting one component with all different modules is nothing but, or linking one component to all modules is nothing but we call, what do you call it, friends? Integration. Ad hoc means sometimes, you just need to do some random testings. That's called ad hoc. Okay. So suppose you did some small patch. Suddenly, your manager came and asked, hey, we did this. We just need to quickly test this. Ad hoc means something which comes without any notice. So that's called random testing. Okay. So even we do such kind of tests. Depends on a small patches we apply once in a while to the products. And monkey testing. So one more testing. This is not actually a what we might be hearing outside monkey testing. This really exists. And right, how monkey behaves. Monkey in sense, you are not sure. Talk about monkey. Monkey doesn't have any knowledge of anything. Suppose you are eating a banana, it will immediately come and grab your banana. Suppose sometimes you are going on a street, monkey will throw something on you, on your head. So it doesn't know anything, but it does something. That is called monkey testing. I hope this is clear for all of you. So generally, anyone with very basic knowledge, if you want to do some testing, this is called monkey test. Suppose your manager want to test something. He doesn't have any idea about application, but he will quickly go and do some testing. That is a monkey thing is that only, right? You don't know, but you are doing something on that. That's called monkey testing here. I hope this is clear. Or someone who is a fresher who just joined, immediately we are asking that fresher, hey, you go and do test this particular thing. Then that is also a, so you are doing something without any knowledge on your application, just to make sure that to make sure to do some kind of testing here. That's called monkey testing, but don't be a monkey. Okay, just kidding. Okay, next, regression testing. This is very important again. Regression means this is what where you have most of the organizations will make sure that this is implemented thoroughly. Regression testing means end-to-end testing, end to end, where from the start to the product, we try to test every module thoroughly. This is called regression testing. Okay, what is regression means? You start it and from the beginning and you end it at the end, and then you do the test closure and come up with all the bugs. Okay, that's called regression testing. Understood now? So these are all different types of testing. Again, there is a question here. Which are most used in the real-time environment? Which are most recommended kind of testing in a real-time environment? So maybe now you can answer these questions. I'm just asking a quick question to you after listening to all this. So this is something which is very important again, as I'm talking about regression testing. For any product, without doing regression testing, you don't do the release. Release doesn't happen without regression testing. So this is an idea. Now let's just take a quick questions here. Among all these testings, just ping in the chat box. Which all these are, which all testings do you think are important? Just type in the chat box. Let's see the answers. Which testings are important for us? Are you able to hear me? Among these testings, you can see the slide and you can answer. It's not like you need to answer without seeing them. Which all are important here? Please type in the chat box. Okay, come on. Okay. So are you able to see this now? Which are important? It's just simple. In a real environment, unit testing is important. Integration testing is important. And regression testing is important. Smoke testing, ad hoc testing, monkey testing, these are all not, we don't need to care about this. Okay. So these are not that important. But which are important here? Unit and smoke and not smoke, unit, integration and regression. These are very important. Smoke, sometimes people might, or sometimes people may not. But these are more important. Okay. And then we do have other testings, what we call user acceptance testing, alpha testing, beta testing. There are many other testings. Anyhow, we don't need much of that now, but just giving a quick idea. Maybe you can just explore it once this session is done. I hope this is clear for all of you friends. Got some clarity here. Right, this is about this one. At least now we are very sure what is regression and what is integration, what is unit, what is smoke, what is, and which is very important for us because you have questions in interviews. People ask you questions. Suppose if you are, planning for testing to be a test engineer, excuse me. So People ask us. So make sure you are having a clear picture about all this. Okay. Next one after this. Hope we are fine with all this, right? What we had discussed till today. Yeah, we have 10 more minutes for today. So what we do is we'll quickly take up few questions. Okay, what I have discussed so far from the start of this session today. So ready for this quick question thing? Because I always want a quick assessment for end of every session. You say it testing or Python or DevOps or whatever session it is. Okay. So let's start with quick question. SDLC, what is SDLC? So how do please answer in chat box. And also one more thing is you can also add some phases or stages of SDLC. We have some 7 or 8 stages. Just name them if possible. What is SDLC and name them? This is the first question. You can answer in the chat box, team. I know today we have moderated it like lobby is free and then uh, for now mic is disabled due to the constant disturbance we are seeing in the sessions. Okay, and also camera. So if you have questions, I'll enable this mic after this session. You can ask me. Okay. At the end of session, definitely we can have interaction like how we had for Python weekend sessions. Okay, what kind of phases we have in this SDLC? Can you add phases? SDLC phases. You can just add few actually. So come on, friends, just add SDLC phases here. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Santoshi. You gave very detailed answer. Okay, right. Uh, Next one, STLC. What do you mean by STLC? And what phases do we have in STLC? Just name them. What is STLC and what phases we have in STLC? Come on, please answer these questions. Take this as a simple assessment, which is good for all of you. Software testing life cycle. Only just two answered. How about others? So, do you have any doubt with that? And just add few STLC stages as well. What STLC stages we have here? Okay. Yeah, test case design, test execution, and then test environment setup. We have all this. I'll anyhow quickly summarize it. And what is difference between waterfall and agile? What is difference between waterfall and agile? Just you can answer in just in short actually. What is difference between waterfall and agile? You can just give me about waterfall first and then agile first. A quick difference. Come on, friends. Okay. Okay. Well, how about agile? What is agile? Come on, team. What is agile? Agile comes in small parts, and both development and testing happens in single sprint. Okay, if something is there, then move it. They will move it to the next sprint as a backlog. Okay. Next one after this. So this I think we should discuss in tomorrow's session. What is test plan and test case? This is very important. thing here. How to create test cases and severity versus priority. We'll talk about it in tomorrow's session for sure. Okay. So I hope this session is clear for all of you. What are the discussions we did? What SDLC means system development, software development life cycle. And what you have here is planning and then requirements and then design and then development and then testing and then deployment and then maintenance. STLC means what we have? We have requirements analysis here. And then what do we have? We have test case creation and then test environment setup, test execution, all the stages we have here in STLC. Waterfall is a old, development methodology or testing methodology where you do all development at once and all testing at once, which is not recommended for big projects, but you can maybe use for small projects. Agile is something which is divided into small chunks and then testing is done or development is done. Usually it's a sprint based this thing, and you have some kind of things like user stories or epics, okay, or feature. Okay, something like that in agile methodologies, and you do that accordingly. And also, even in agile methodologies, you have something for this thing, like what I say is in your sprint, you can have that if it is testing team, they create a Jira story with integration testing, or they create a Jira story for user acceptance testing or regression testing or different forms of testing. Whereas if you see, when we are doing this release, because we do frequent releases as we are DevOps team, we generally create multiple Jiras. So in that, the most popular test Jiras we create is for this regression and user acceptance and integration. Okay, these three things quite frequently we apply this. Okay, all this is about this one, friends. So this. And then maybe what else we had discussed? We had discussed about types of software testing again, and which are quite popular now. This unit and then integration and then regression. Okay, these are all very quite popular. Okay, and then next, what else? This we see in tomorrow's session because we are almost at 9. Again, we have to run now. That's about today. I hope you had a clear understanding on what we did. You're good, right? Any more questions? Anyone want to have? Anybody has questions? If you have questions, I will enable this. The mic option for you. I'm just enabling. Anyhow, our session is done. If you want to, if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Your mic is enabled. You can talk now. Can someone try to talk so that just I'll understand? So if you have questions, please let me know. Just enable the mic now so that yeah. Hello. Anyone is asking question? No questions. No problem then. Yeah, good. No issues then. Okay, let's catch up tomorrow. I'll share this recording to all of you. You can just quickly go through that. Okay. You can always ping me if you want in our WhatsApp, or you can call us on our dedicated connection number. Okay. Right. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, sure. I'll share that, Kishore. I'll share the recording. I think I had shared for your Python sessions as well. If you have attended, if you are only in testing, no problem. I'll share this. Thank you.